What's up, you guys? Welcome back to my channel and thank you for being here. Today's video is going to be a recap of my May books, and then I take you guys along with me to the library to pick up some books for the month of June. I'm gonna read and kind of go over what the books are for June. So get yourself a snack or something to drink and let's get into it. So as you guys saw from my last book recap for April, I showed Colleen Hoover's Verity, and that really got me sparked back into some fiction. So I had to pick up another Colleen Hoover book. This is Layla. This book was really good. I like Verity more. So far I felt like that was my favorite book of hers, but this was still a solid, I would say, being a tough critic, 4.5 out of 5 stars. I would say 5 stars, it's got to be really great, but this is still a really good book. It's about a guy named Leeds that meets this young woman, Layla, and they meet at her sister's wedding, and he's in the band, and they experience a tragedy together, and so they try to get away at the place that they first met. And some paranormal things start to occur. It kind of starts to make Leeds question his relationship with Layla. So it's this mental tether between Layla and this paranormal experience that Leeds is having. And I really like the way that she writes. It starts off in a forward time period, and then the book kind of goes backwards telling the story but continues to proceed in the future, and then the two storylines kind of collide and meet together. And I really enjoy that because it builds up your energy, especially when you're listening or reading the forward story. It's like your emotions are here, but then the next chapter you learn more of the backstory, and then you kind of go back and forth between how you feel, and I feel like that keeps you on the edge of your seat. This did take me a while to read. I would say it took me the majority of the month, not that it's a long book obviously, but simply because we went on a trip and I kind of fell off my routine of reading, but I still felt like it was a really good book, and the ending threw me for a curve. And I really liked it, so I highly recommend. And like I said, all these books will be linked in the description for you guys, and check out your local library. If you don't want to buy a new book, you can always go to your local library. That's what I do. But the next book I have is Things We Never Got Over by Lucy Score. Now this is a pretty thick book. It's like 550 pages, and I haven't read a book like this in a really long time, I think since I was younger and read Twilight, but this book is 5 stars. I'm obsessed. I would highly recommend this book if you're interested in fiction. It has a lot of characters in it, which I feel like can get really complex, but then the author does a really great job of depicting each person in the role that they play in the storyline. But this storyline is kind of a damsel in distress, Naomi, main character, and her twin Tina is mischievous and troubled, and Naomi stumbles into a town in Virginia where she has to pick up the pieces of her twin sister Tina's mess. And during the time period, there's a local rough around the edges type of guy named Knox that is swooning over Naomi, and it kind of breaks down some of their personal issues with letting people in and feeling love, along with telling their love story. And then there's also the thrill of the chaos that's going on in the town and everything that Naomi is encountering while she's in this new town in Virginia. So I highly recommend this book. It made me tear up at the end and made me feel so warm and full in my heart. I just love this book, and yeah, I would give it 5 stars. I loved the writing. I think I've read this in like 3.5 days, which for a hefty book, I think that goes to show how much I really liked it. So with that being said, I went to the library to pick up some new books. I had a few on my list that I was really wanting to read for the month of June. So I had my fingers crossed to find some of those, and I'll take you guys along now. All right, you guys, we're off to the library. I have a list of books I am finger crossed going to find at the library. So let's go. Okay, I got 2 books, which I'll show you guys later. And then the second book to The Things We Never Got Over by Lucy Score is at another library. So I'm actually gonna head that way because I gotta read the second one. All right, so I didn't show, but I did pick this one up in the month of May, but just never ended up reading it, and I still want to read it for the month of June. This one is Between Two Kingdoms. It's a memoir, but this one is about a woman that's diagnosed with a illness, and she embarks on a 15,000-mile road trip across the country and meets strangers, teachers, artists, and inmates on death row who had written her during her time in the hospital. Along the way, she learned about how we move forward when life is interrupted by heartbreak, loss, disaster, or illness, and how we survive the constant transition that are essential to the human experience. So I really wanted to read this, and it's still on my list. I still have it. I renewed it for the month of June, and yeah, I'm excited to read something that's a little more personal and nonfiction. And then I picked up The Alchemist. This is like an American classic. I feel like so many people have talked about this as one of their most profound books they've ever read in their spiritual journey, even though it's considered a fiction book. But I've been really excited to read this. It's pretty small, so I feel like this would be a really quick read. But this one says, this story, dazzling in its powerful simplicity and soul-stirring wisdom, is about an shepherd boy named Santiago who travels from his homeland in Spain to an Egyptian desert in search of a treasure buried near the pyramids. Along the way, he meets a gypsy woman, a man who calls himself king, and an alchemist, all of whom point Santiago in the direction of his quest. No one knows what the treasure is or if Santiago will be able to surmount the obstacles in his path, but what starts out as a journey to find worldly goods turns into a discovery of the treasure found within. The story of Santiago is an internal testament to the transforming power of our dreams and the importance of listening to our hearts. So I feel like this is going to be a really good book, and I'm excited. Also, I feel like once it's summer, I read a ton because I spend a lot of time outside. If you guys check the vlogs and stuff and keep up with me on TikTok, my partner and I, Bree, we're always in the park, in the hammock, out in nature, and I just love reading in the summer, so I have high hopes for June. Anyways, proceeding, this one is Ugly Love by Colleen Hoover. I still enjoy her writing, so I want to work through some of her books, and I saw this one on TikTok and it seemed really good. This one is seems like a love story, but it says hearts get infiltrated, promises get broken, rules get shattered, love gets ugly. It's not exactly love at first sight for Tate Collins when she sees tormented and secretive Miles Archer. They wouldn't ever consider themselves friends. The only thing Tate has in common is a mutual physical attraction that can't, it's like, they put the barcode right over the word, so attraction that can't be denied. Once their desires are out in the open, they realize they stumble on the perfect no strings arrangement. As long as Tate can stick to the 2 rules Miles has for her: never ask about the past and don't expect a future, they think they can handle it, but everything is different when real emotions start to change the equation. So seems like another romance, sort of thriller mystery, so we shall see how this one pans out. You guys, last but certainly not the least, The Things We Hide from the Light by Lucy Score. This is the second book to The Things We Never Got Over, and I had to pick this up. I went to a second library, as you guys saw in my trip to the library, just to pick this up because the first library obviously didn't have it, and I was so hooked that I'm like, I can't miss out on reading the second book. This one seems like it explores some of the characters a little deeper that weren't so much the main characters of the first book. So this one involves Lena and Knox, and it says, when Nash finds out why she's there, flirty friends become furious enemies. The sparks flying don't know the difference between lust and hate. When danger forces them together, it's only a matter of time before they both get burned. So I'm super excited to read this one. It's another hefty one, but I'm up for it, and I'm so excited about all these books that I picked up. I have absolutely been loving reading these past few months. I have always enjoyed reading, but lately, ever since I opened my self up to more fiction, I've just been head deep in the books, and it's been so much fun for me to get into a different reality, and I love talking about it at night with my partner and telling them all about it. I'm like, some of these books need to be movies. They're just so good, but I've been loving it, and if you guys have any book recommendations, please leave it for me in the comments below, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Give it a big thumbs up, and I'll see you in the next one.